Hello friends, and welcome to the Hanged Man in the Moon. I got something in the mail. This is The Shining Tribe by Rachel Pollack. Now, it's a mass market deck, and it's fairly old. It's from 2001, I believe. And the reason why I'm doing an unboxing and a walkthrough of it, it's new to my collection, is because I think it's out of print and I feel that it's going out of stock. I can still see a few copies online, but it doesn't look like there are many. So, just in case, if you see this and you're interested, I suggest going and snagging a copy for yourself because, come on, Rachel Pollack, right? Rachel Pollack is one of the living goddesses of tarot. And I'm not sure how much I'm going to have to say about this deck because this is a very different deck for my collection. But again, like I said, Rachel Pollack. I'm totally fangirling out on this deck. So I'll turn the camera down and we'll take a look at the book and the cards and let's have some fun. So friends, you can see that there's a little bit of a gloss on the box right now. Hopefully this is not going to disturb our view of the cards, but the box is really not that shiny. I don't know why there's that glint over here on the side, but what do we have? We have the Shining Tribe Tarot, renewed and expanded. Rachel Pollack, yay! Includes book and deck. I love the artwork. And I'm very curious to see how Rachel Pollack, one of the great writers about tarot, how she takes the Rider-Waite-Smith system, and I believe this is still Rider-Waite-Smith, and uses it to express her concepts of the tarot. So I'm very curious to see what this all comes out to look like. You can see this is a card. I'm guessing this is probably Judgment, but we're going to have to take a look. You can see it's an updated, modern, shining tribe. So there's a somewhat ancient art kind of feel to it, but also modernism. I mean, these are definitely modern buildings, right? And then what do we have on the back? We have a short description. We've got Mary Greer and Caitlin Matthews, two other goddesses of tarot and cartomancy in my book, gave their approval to this deck. And let's see this short description at the bottom. Joining the Shining Tribe by Rachel Pollack. All of us who work with tarot form a kind of tribe, one whose roots go back many thousands of years before the actual appearance of tarot cards. This is the tribe of diviners, those special magicians, shamans, psychics, and visionaries who use cards or sticks or trees or stones or shells to communicate with the gods. Makes perfect sense to me. Drawing from the legacy of 50,000 years of human encounters with the divine. Now see, isn't that cool? Renowned tarot scholar, yes, Rachel Pollack, has created a revised and expanded version of the Shining Woman Tarot. So this was apparently originally the Shining Woman Tarot, based upon tribal prehistoric art from around the world, as well as the Kabbalah, Jungian psychology, and the wisdom and tradition of the tarot. The Shining Tribe Tarot is truly global. The full-sized booklet included in this kit is a comprehensive guide to working with the deck. It includes fresh, insightful interpretations, original poetry for each card, now that's cool, guidance on caring for and using the cards, and a selection of spreads. Oh, this is going to be so wonderful, and the color palette is intriguing. It's not my usual favorite color palette, but even looking at this border, although it's a lot of pinks and oranges together, which I usually am not all that thrilled by, I like orange, I like pink, but together, usually not so much. However, here, I like it. I really like it. I do like it. And let's see, the side of the box, this is by Llewellyn Press. So we can probably guess the cardstock, well, from 2001. We'll have to take a look at what the cardstock is. But let me get into the box. Yeah, we've spent a lot of time on the box. Let me open up the box. Now the box is a huge flip-top box. Huge flip-top box. Oh, good. So the book is 360 pages. That's a good indication. We've got, oh, look at this chunker. Oh, I love this. So I would guess getting the deck just for the book alone is perfect. So the book takes up half of the inside of the box, and the other half is taken up by a box holding the deck that looks like this. So I'll set the box, the big box, aside, and here's a small box holding space for the cards. In plastic, wrapped somewhat like a box of cigarettes. The box above can be used as a deck box for your card. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. So this box here, I see. So there's a perforated line here. Can you see that? Can you see that? You might not be able to see that. There's a perforated line here. So you can rip this off and use this as a box for this, although that's pretty large. Anyways, so the box above the deck can be used for your tarot card. Simply detach the perforations. The box is large enough to accommodate any Llewellyn deck. It is in addition, you may want to try some suggestions below. Wrap your deck in a protective cloth. Okay, so if it's wrapped in a cloth, it should probably still fit in here, especially if it's a thin silk cloth. Store your deck in a box embellished with protective and or empowering symbols. So you could draw symbols on here. Between readings, cleanse your deck for negative energy by putting all the cards back in order and upright, something I never do. You can also smudge the cards with sage and any other cleansing incense or herb. I do that. Wrap stones or crystals with your deck or put them on top of the deck box. Selected stones, crystals with healing protective properties or ones that absorb negative energy, like, for example, black tourmaline. Place your deck on a windowsill in the light of the full moon. Okay, so this can be the box for the deck, and I might use this later on. We'll have to see. Yeah, it's plain white paper. That's fine. I mean, we don't need all that extra ink. Before we look at the deck, let's look at the book. So, is that too shiny? No, it's not too shiny. Is it? I'll zoom in when we look at the cards, but let's look at the book in this expanded view. Awakening the Universal Spirit. I love the artwork. So what do we get in the book? We get a short description by Cynthia Giles, I don't know her. Okay, basically this similar description from the back of the box is here. All of us who work with tarot form a kind of tribe, and I think that's true, especially if you're here on YouTube, you know that we have a community on YouTube for tarot, and that's a kind of tribe right there, right here. Let's see, about the author, Shining Tribe Tarot, Rachel Pollack, 2001. Other books by Rachel Pollack, yeah. The Hindu Tarot, I'm going to be diving into that, I think this year, hopefully. But so many books. We have a preface, introduction, the structure of the Shining Tribe, the major arcana, from page 5 to page 93. So there's plenty of information there. The minor arcana from page 93 to page 231. Enough information there. The vision cards, those extra cards from 231 to 287. That's a lot of extra cards. Readings, start your own Shining Tribe. That's interesting. Name changes, why some of the names have been changed. Reversals, glossary. Okay, so this book itself is worth the price of the entire deck, I believe. And the price is very good. So we got a preface. This book belongs to a special set of tarot cards based on the tribal and prehistoric art from around the world and rooted in the wisdom and tradition of the tarot itself. The Shining Tribe grows from an earlier deck called the Shining Woman. Do you have the Shining Woman? If you do have the Shining Woman, let me know in the comments below. If you have it, do you still use it? What do you think of it? I'd love it. I'd love to hear from you. I don't know that deck at all. In that deck, the name was derived from the card of Shining Woman, itself based on the World card in the traditional tarot. The World card has always shown a nude dancing woman, sometimes with hermaphroditic suggestions. Yes, exactly. Not always a woman. She represents the perfected spirit, the person who begins as a fool and travels through varied experiences to discover freedom in union with the divine truth. For the card of Shining Woman, I drew on sacred traditions found in many cultures all over the world, of the cosmos, of a single being. Some mythologies describe the figure as a goddess or god, others as a perfect human. In the Jewish Kabbalistic tradition that has so influenced tarot, the cosmic man is called Adam Kadmon, whom Kabbalists describe as the first created being, hermaphroditic, like God, whom Genesis describes as male and female, and perfect before the separation into man and woman, a separation that occurred so that two beings could be companions who would take each other to higher levels of fulfillment. And then she goes on. Myth for the tarot's origins. So basically, how did tarot come about, and how did it come to be today, I suppose? An introduction, which is good, some 200 years ago. Okay, so this is more... Okay, introduction. Let's see. Let me just take a look. At first glance, the Shining Tribe Tarot may appear different from classical tarot or even its many modern offshoots. Gone are kings and queens with their medieval court. Instead, we find knowers and speakers with their gifts and places. While many of the traditional titles remain, we also find unexpected and mysterious characters. An empress in the form of a goddess with spirals and chevrons covering her body. An emperor with the head of a stag. So somewhat maybe like the Wildwood, maybe? Okay, okay, let's keep going. Gone are the emblems, the wands and cups, swords and pentacles. In their place we find trees and rivers, wands, cups, birds and stones, swords, pentacles. That makes sense. In place of the parade of characters acting out their myriad stories in the the man with the 10 sticks, the beggar outside the church, we find mysterious naked masked dancers, sleepers in dream temples, dark spirits rising out of canyon walls, even occasional abstract symbols. Does Shining Tribe simply break away from tarot tradition to indulge in its own private symbol systems? The answer is absolutely not. With all the changes, the Shining Tribe cards are firmly rooted in tarot's history. They owe their structure, their inner images, their inner messages, and their very existence to the wisdom and the power that have come together in the tarot over the last 500 years. And then she goes on to describe how that is so. So, like I said, this book is going to be magnificent. Rachel Pollack is a phenomenal writer and a phenomenal scholar of tarot. So, and then we get the Major Arcana, a short description of what that's all about from various traditions. We got the 7 card lines of tarot, as Rachel Pollack describes in her book, the wisdom. What is the name of her book? I'll put the name of her book. Well, no, I can find it. 78. Where are you, baby? Where are you? Someone taste yourself. Shining with a vertigo body. Oh, maybe that book. 78 Degrees of Wisdom. That's what I was looking for. 78 Degrees of Wisdom. In that book, she describes the cards and continually relates the Major Arcana in these 3 lines of 7 as 3 lines of evolution for the Fool. So we got that chart here. And then we move on to the Fool. So for each card, let's see. Okay, so for each card, we've got a black and white image, a short poem. She walks through the mountains, she flies through the circle, she hears the birds singing, she plays tricks on her brother. And there's a long description, a deep description of the Fool, and then short divinatory meanings. And then we have, now let's see, in that description of the Fool is the art described. The Fool is the eternal child. Sometime after I drew this picture, bitten by a dog or cat, the writer Fool, beautiful, shiny, the Fool has become a still younger and has taken a leap. He follows the bird, and without any thought, he too begins to fly. Okay, so the cards are described in this. The mountains at back symbolize, yes, okay, so, good. I slipped into Korean there for just a moment. The image on the card is described in detail in this description, which is perfect. Exactly what I want from a book for a deck. We've got divinatory meanings and reversed meanings, and then we go right into the magician. Oh, look at this art. Okay, so moving right along to, let's get into the minor arcana. Okay, let's go. The minor arcana. So for the minor, let's see, what was at the back there? So we've got the awakening, and then we've got the world shining woman, and description. Okay, the same. So the minor arcana, a short description of that. Again, trees are fire, otherwise known as wands. Rivers are water, makes sense, otherwise known as cups. Birds are air, also makes sense, otherwise known as swords. Stones are earth, or traditionally pentacles. And then we've got, oh good, and then we've got numerological associations. Aces, prime quality of the suit. Twos, duality and resolution. Threes, strong expression of the element. Okay, fours, structure. So I'm assuming that the four, for example, of pentacles is going to be less about greed and more about structure. We'll see. Fives, loss, sorrow, healing. Sixes, passion, exploration. Sevens, daring, communication. Very good. Eights, movement, change. Nines, confronting truth, healing. Tens, fullness, completion. Wonderful, wonderful. And then so we've got a little bit about trees in general as the suit element, and then the ace, and then we've got the same. We've got a short poem, description of the card, divinatory meanings, and reversed. This book is fabulous, 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 fabulous. Thank you, Rachel Pollack. Let's go to the Four of Stones, because that's a card that I'm curious to see if she has gone with the Rider-Waite-Smith general meanings, or no, she hasn't. Okay, that is good. I like that. So instead of greed and the guy holding all his coins, we've got stability, structure, security, including economic security. All of these do not control or stifle the person, but rather create opportunities. Fabulous. Good relationships, discoveries, especially of wonder in simple things, a look into the past. So we've got a much more positive look at the Four of Pentacles or Four of Stones in the upright. And then in reversed, what do we have? We have instability, structures beginning to come apart, risks, movement in life. Someone may feel stifled in his or her current situation and take risks to bring change. So this is very good. This is very good. It's not a pip card, but for example, the Rider-Waite-Smith Four of Pentacles is generally seen as a very negative card. Yeah, but we've got a more numerologically based system here, I believe. And then what do we get in the back? What do we get in the back? We've got, let's see, okay, so, okay, I'm Nine of Stones, and then we go to Let's see. What do we have here? We have, okay. Sorry. I could just go to the table of contents and, okay, here we go. The vision cards. We've got a description of what the vision cards are. Like the numbered cards of the minor arcana, the vision cards vary from suit to suit, depending on the quality of the element belonging to that suit. There is, however, a difference from the numbered cards. Ace through 10 of the 4 suits join together to show the variety of human experience. The vision cards follow a more definite progression, linking the cards more sharply to each other, a little like the major arcana, with its step-by-step journey from the fool to the world's shining woman. The vision cards also teach us more directly about the elements than the numbers, for their theme is understanding and using the power each element can give to us. The 4 cards follow a pattern of withdrawal and return, one that resembles Joseph Campbell's monomyth, yes, of the hero's journey. We can interpret them for their separate meanings, but can also follow them through such techniques as meditation or guided visualization to gain the wisdom and gifts of the elements. Now, just a moment. These vision cards might be what we would otherwise so the vision cards are what we would otherwise think of as the court cards. Yes. So the place of trees, we have, so instead of the page of wands, we have the place of trees. Then we have, instead of the Knight of Wands, we have the Knower of Trees. And we have the poem, we have the divinatory meanings and the reversed meanings. Gift of Trees. Instead of the Queen, the Gift of Trees. And then the Speaker of Trees, I suppose, instead of the King. Confidence, brilliance, communication of new ideas, great energy, enlightenment, sexuality, a strong sexual relationship. Yes. So this is instead of the king. So we've got the non-gendered court right here from 2001. And then we go through the rivers, gift of birds, knower of stones, and we get to the end of the court cards, but here instead of their court cards, they are called the vision cards. And then readings, how to do readings. Okay, good. So very good information. For example, on a 3 card, you could read it from left to right, 1, 2, 3. You could read 1 as the central message with 2 and 3 on the sides, or you can read 1, 3, 2. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Okay, she gives examples, a leap across the abyss, soul readings, ways to activate. Okay, so I guess instead of, let's see, leap across the abyss, she gives a description, 8 questions. So these are kind of like spreads, but she doesn't give you where you would put the cards. Like usually in the spread section, there would be boxes with numbers, Card 1, card 2, card 3, card 4. And that's probably why she does this. She gives an explanation of how you can choose to place the cards. She'll just give you the questions. Individual spreads, 5 of birds. Okay, so instead of having the cards, she explains it. Instead of having the blank cards, she explains it here. So that's very helpful. That's very helpful. I believe this could be a good deck for a beginner. It doesn't give you the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery symbolism directly. It's Rider-Waite-Smith adjacent, but this could be a very good beginning deck if you wanted to really focus on this deck alone, or for any of the rest of us as well. This is a fabulous deck, I believe. So, like I said, it's time to look at the deck. And what I will do is I will zoom in and set up let's see. Maybe I can do it right here. Let's see. I'll give myself 5 seconds to open. There we go. I can open the deck. I can open the deck. There we go. Okay, so here I am opening the deck. And we're in. And these cards are just a tad glossy. Let me zoom in for you so that, and get the plastic off of my hand. This plastic is not wanting to leave my hands. There's a lot of static electricity around here. Okay, so, oh gosh, let's see. Okay, good. It is off my hands. Let me zoom in a little bit and get this a little better set up so it looks just a little prettier for us. And this is what the back of the cards looks like. Very red and yellow. And as for size, let me pull out my Universal Rider-Waite-Smith from US Games to check size. Yeah. So they're just a tad shorter and just a smidge wider, like 5 hair strands worth wider. Can you see that? They are just a tad wider. Not that that's going to make much of a difference for anybody. Yeah, US Games, Rider-Waite-Smith, cardstock, very flexible but thin. These are also very flexible and very thin, but they're just a tad thicker than the US Games, which is nice because sometimes Llewellyn cardstock is really, really thin. Let me put it side by side with the US Games deck, and you can see it's just a tad thicker cardstock. Just a bit. Not so much that it's going to make it difficult to shuffle or riffle shuffle or probably even bridge, but it is just a smidge thicker, which is a good thing. But again, it's okay. So right now it's a little bit stiff, but I'm sure this will work in. Okay, so like I said, this is what the backs look like, and this is what the Fool looks like. Let me check the zoom for you. I could go a little bit closer, couldn't I? Let me go in a little closer and bring in my pretties for us. Okay, so we've lost the angel, but that's okay, right? We want to see these cards close up. And you'll notice that the border, there is a border, and I'm going to leave the border on. This border is dark at the top and light at the bottom. It's a nice fade, looks wonderful. And here we have the Fool leaping off of a higher ground, following a bird out into space. But notice so many interesting elements here, right? And that little piece of plastic is back on my hand. Okay, let me use this, my pen as a pointer. This spiral, yeah, this tree. I'm not sure what that is down there on the ground. Now, it looks like this is maybe a river, or these are rivers, I should say. Snow-capped mountains in the background. Interesting art. I love the clothes on the Fool. And here we have the Magician. But okay, so we do have a lot of the Rider-Waite-Smith stuff here. We've got a wand in the hand, as above, so below, right? I believe this will probably be described in the book, because we don't usually see a mountain range or cities in the Magician card for Rider-Waite-Smith, and these figures down here are very interesting. But we do have a cup. We have, let's see, do we have a bird? Oh, a bird for air, right? We have birds, we have rivers, we have stones, and what are the suits? What are the suits? They've flown out of my mind already. Let's see. The suits are okay, so trees. So I suppose that could be our tree. Yeah, rivers, we got a river back there. We've got birds, we got a bird up in the air, and stones, we got a stone there. But we've also got a wand-like thing, a cup-like thing. Don't see a sword or a coin, but still, we've got the idea of all of the elements being available to this magician, and you'll notice how the wand goes here, and then this line connects to this small body-like image on their clothes through to the arm pointing down to this, right? It's very interesting. Very, very interesting. And maybe this is a sun and moon coexisting here in the sky. Okay, I want to keep this open for my reference. So, okay, so excuse my arm. And here we go with the High Priestess. Look at that. We've got 2 columns. Yeah. We don't get that water behind her feel. It looks like she is wearing the veil. Now, she is the veil. And notice this coiled snake here at her feet and the fish below. Oh, so interesting. And the Empress looking like a very ancient Venus statue, right? Now, those ancient Venus statues that are found in many places around, especially the Mediterranean, the mother goddess kind of Venus statue. And we've got trees, we've got water, we've got 2 celestial orbs, we've got stars, mountains, we got it all. And these curves, the flowing lines on this body. And I suppose this could be a face, maybe. Now, yes, the horned one for the emperor. I love that. We've got a bull here, something like Minos, reminding me of Minos in Greece. But the stag head is not Minos. We've got these arrows pointing up, which is interesting. Gives me a little bit of, kind of Mars feel, but notice the red. We do have a lot of red here, which is a common color for the emperor. And look at these squares, that 4 feeling. Now, the 4 of the emperor. Here we have 5. Instead of a Hierophant or a Pope, we've got tradition, which is the meaning of the Hierophant for me. That tradition, teaching. And we've got 5, number 5, we've got 5 stones around this spiral. Now we've got ground drawings. This fish in the background is interesting. Love that radiant sun in the back. We've got the 3, it's not really a Triskeliae, the Celtic 3 interlocking spirals. It's not that, but it's got a little bit of that flavor for me. Interesting. So here we have the lovers. Definitely lovers, plural. Although one of them has angel wings. Yeah? 2 figures. We don't know for certain their gender if they are gendered. But they are 2 beings flying up in the sky. Love that. The chariot. So, no creatures on this chariot, right? But we do have a figure in some kind of a vehicle with wheels. And do you notice that there's the light wheel and there's the dark wheel instead of the light animal and the dark animal? Yeah, I suppose there's that going here on. I suppose that's the image for this. Does it look like this person is riding over water? Or is this blue land? That's what the book is for, right? And this very common symbol in this deck. The circle with the cross. Interesting creature. And here we go with strength. Again, instead of a woman and a lion, we've got one animal with, looks like they've only got 3 legs, or is that a tail or is that another leg? I mean, this leg's kind of shooting up in an odd direction. That's probably a tail. And a kind of womb-like, a vaginal opening here at the bottom, somewhat, with those decorations that were on the box right down here. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. And here we have the Hermit. I suppose this is our Hermit. Now, here's the lantern. There's the rod going into a square darkness, yeah, at least moving in that direction. And we've got a sun and a moon here with a turtle holding up the world, perhaps. There's another sun up there in the sky. and the Spiral of Fortune. Look, the artwork in this deck is so intriguing and makes me think I gotta look at the book. Yeah, the book is going to be important for this deck, for me, and I think for most people. Even though we know the tarot, we can see the Wheel of Fortune here. And instead of 4 creatures, we got 4 dots, I suppose, instead of the 4 seraphim or the 4 elements or the 4 fixed signs of the zodiac. However you read those 4 creatures, yeah, the lion, the bull, the eagle, and the angel. Interesting. Okay, moving on to the Justice card at 11. And instead of scales and a sword, we do get the 2 poles behind the figure, which looks like it's painted on a rock to me. This is the Justice card. Very interesting. Again, need the book. Really need the book. Here's the Hanged Woman. We got a ship and a fish in the water. We got the sun in the morning and the moon at night. Another Venus-like image here. Do you know these ancient Venus statues from around the Mediterranean? This reminds me of that. But on the other hand, we have what looks like a very modern city here, and a bird. We've got the legs somewhat in that 4 position that we often see in the hanged person, the hanged man, the hanged woman. Here we have death. We've got the skull. And look at this head kind of springing out of the skull, kind of like a jack-in-the-box. I don't know. Or maybe maybe it is a jack-in-the-box springing out of this box. We've got very living, lively, healthy-looking flowers here at the bottom. We've got a fish and a butterfly or a moth, symbol of death, the spirit. And after death is Temperance. Okay, so for Temperance, we've got the 2, they're not cups, but they are vessels-like, and there's something flowing between them, sure. We got water at the bottom, we got the angel wings, we got the sun above. We don't get the mountain ranges, but that's not entirely necessary. I can get Temperance out of this image. And the devil. Look at this devil figure. And these drawings on the ground. Very interesting. We don't get 2 imps on the side. Instead, we've got, looks like a head and maybe a neck, maybe a body. And then this looks like, looks kind of like a lightsaber to me from the Star Wars series of movies. But probably it's not a lightsaber. Probably, maybe it's a torch. Maybe it's a sword. I don't know. It doesn't look like a wand. That's why we've got the book. And this is the tower. Look at that. We got the energy coming from above. We get the structure energized, on fire. Yeah? We've got a person trapped down what looks like underground to me. And all of these symbols around that person underground. And this person again, of course, above ground. So interesting. Now, are these the towers or is this the tower? I assume this is the tower, but I could be wrong. And 17, the star. Okay, we got the 2 vessels pouring into, instead of 1 body of water, 2 streams. Now we got the figure clothed. We've got wheat growing in the background instead of a tree, a huge wheat. And a home. Looking very Greek to me. And here we have the moon card. Look at that. We've got the crustacean coming out of the water. We don't have the dogs. We don't have the towers. We do have the moon and maybe Diana's arrow. Maybe. Don't know what that is. This crustacean looks a little bit spider-like to me, even though, of course, spiders don't have this kind of a tail. And a somewhat vaginal-looking design on the back of the creature. For could be an eye without an eyeball. Okay, the sun. We have, this is less Rider-Waite-Smith, a little bit more Tao de Marseille. We have two beings in front of what looks like it could be a wall with this very stylized sun, and looks like a very stylized bull's head above to me. And next would be the awakening instead of judgment. So yes, that's what I said. When I looked at the back of the box, I said this looked like judgment. Can you see it? That was on the back of the box. That was on the back of the box. Beautiful creature. Does it look like this creature has eyeshadow on? And lipstick? Looks a little made up to me. Not a bad thing, just interesting. And the world, shining woman. Very radiant, shining woman with all of these symbols on the body. Tree growing up from her. That line of power going down the arms, a light hand and a dark hand, that's interesting. And instead of 4 creatures, we've got 4 bits of energy around the shining woman. 4 vibrating energy fields, perhaps. Okay, now we go into the aces of tree. We start with the trees, and we see a child, a baby, with the umbilical cord going up to a tree. So the tree, I suppose, is feeding this growing baby underneath the ground. Stars, we got but we also have a sun coming up between the distant mountains. The 2 of trees. Okay, so we've got that idea of the 2 wands and the person between, looking out into the future, imagining what will come, what the direction they will go in, the creation they will create. And there are words up here. Is the mother who had given us shape. Blessed is the mother who had given us shape. Amen. Amen to that. And perhaps this is the mother who is getting ready to birth something. That would be 2 of wands. Sure. 3 of wands, 3 of trees, 3 figures. Instead of 1 figure looking out over the ocean, we've got 3 figures looking a little bit like a scarecrow to me. A wizard, a scarecrow dressed as a wizard. Is that what's going on? Is that what this image is? Very interesting. 4 of trees. Now, usually this is a celebratory 4 of wands, 4 of trees. We've got home, sure. We've got wheat, we've got plenty. This is a light celebration. Not complete absolute victory, but celebration of a milestone, perhaps. Now, a wedding sometimes is a meaning for the 4 of wands. We don't have any people in this, but it's not a pip card either. There's a scene, something's going on. There are symbols here. And here we go with the 5 of trees. In the 5 of trees, I only see 1 tree here, but we've got this animal going across what looks like a very modern looking city with that circle and cross above in the sky. And maybe a nest, a bird's nest here, maybe. 5 of wands is usually competition, but this doesn't look very competitive to me. I have to look at the book. 6 of trees. Now, 6 of wands is usually the victory card, right? And I don't get victory here, but I get journey out of this. Now we've got a figure, perhaps female, walking away with an animal, perhaps following behind. Looks like a snake here on the ground. Maybe owl eyes here in the heavens. Oh gosh, this is really going to take study. 7 of trees. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I guess this is 7. 7 of wands is usually the defensive card. Yes, holding one's ground. I don't get that so much here. But definitely there's a system. I can definitely see a system in these cards. 8 of trees. Energy. movement forward, energy. So this person is riding perhaps a wand, a tree, through the sky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I guess. 8 of trees. And a home. Does that look like it's on fire? The house is on fire. That's a good reason to be flying through the sky and getting away, huh? Okay, and the 9 of trees, 9 of wands is usually a defensive card in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. This person looks like they're grieving or feeling sorrow over something. This tree looks like it might be in a not so good place for it because of all of the water flowing around it. This doesn't look like a stable place for this tree to me. But there's a path leading to perhaps a temple in the back. And here we have the 10 of trees, often burden in Rider-Waite-Smith, but this does not look like burden. This looks like joy. Yeah, these creatures or beings look like they are very joyful. How many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, the 10 trees are in the back. And this looks like a solar system to me. Okay, how many planets? We've got, maybe if this is the sun, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so this I believe is our solar system. And remember, this is 2001. I think we were still calling Pluto a planet in 2001. Moving right along. Palace of Trees. So this would be the alternative to the Page of Wands, the Palace of Trees. 2 female-looking figures here. And we have the Knower of Trees, which would be the Knight, I believe. Maybe? The Gift of Trees, which would be the Queen in another deck, but different. Yeah, the Gift of Trees, the Giver, the Nurturer, the Nourisher, and the Speaker of Trees, yes, which would be the King, the confident one, right? That figure looks rather confident, right? Arms up, yes, powerful. And you'll notice the other trees growing on this one tree. Interesting. So we move on to rivers. Oh, look at that. We got a fish flowing up into a mask, which is where the river is emanating from. We've got a person going to gather water from the river. We've got an animal here coming to drink from the river. Wonderful images, wonderful symbols. Notice the trees back here are kind of bare, huh? Okay, so we have the 2 of Rivers, the 2 of Cups, which is often a lover card. Yeah, I could see these 2 fish being in a romantic relationship, perhaps. 2 rivers meeting, joining, creating one. And here we have the 3, which is usually 3 different beings gathering together, celebrating, sharing their diversity together. And we do get that. We've got the Triskalia, that was the word, Triskalia here. We've got a pomegranate here. We've got a tree here. All together in one cup. And notice the triangles are in the shape of the water element. Was that also part of, no, this wasn't part of that. But we do get the water element shape here in that triangle pointing down. And a labyrinth at the top. Interesting. Okay, so the 4 of Rivers, which is sometimes boredom. Notice this tattered garment moving down the river. At least that's what it looks like, a tattered garment to me. Whereas this person looks like they are giving thanks, perhaps. Don't know. And this, I guess this is the sky and with a mountain in the background. It's hard for me to tell. 4 sticks here at the back, on the bottom. Interesting. 5 of Rivers. So this bird is the river, right? And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fish swimming up the neck of this river bird. This bird river, I should say. With a celestial, maybe the sun on the body and the sun in the sky. Five of Cups is usually, Five of Cups is a moving on from disappointment card, but I don't get that here. Or learning from disappointment. Okay, the Six of Cups, Six of Rivers, which is often a nostalgia card. Don't get nostalgia here. We've got these rivers flowing on either side of this figure holding a flower. Looking again like an ancient Venus statue to me. The Seven of Rivers, look at that. Do we have seven? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We do have 7 rivers here, all differently colored. We have one large fish. We've got spirals. We've got maybe a mermaid. We've got some ships. Maybe that's a ship. We've got this creature here. We've got cups here on the side. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 7 cups here on that side. No, the other cards did not have cups. Okay, the Eight of Rivers. Often, this is really the dejected walking away from everything, leaving everything behind card, yeah? Don't get that so much here. Do we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? We have 8 rivers. All separating. Maybe we do have that idea of separation because these rivers are separating the land into different areas, and less access from one area to the other. Maybe we got that kind of separation in this card. The Nine of Vessels. Oh, they're all cracked up. Now, the Nine of Cups is usually the satisfaction, the wish card, dreams come true. The fat guy sitting in front of a line of 9 goblets in the background, looking very satisfied. Don't get that from this card, right? So, maybe I'm thinking this is less Rider-Waite-Smith, more different system of tarot, but still based on numerology and suit element, right? This is how I would see the Nine of Cups in a Marseille deck in a way. Not exactly, but there are some elements that I see here. And we have the 10. We've got perhaps a family, of 2 people with a home in the background. Very common. A bird flying above. They're in the water. Yeah, they're surrounded by and filled with their emotions. And here we have place or page of rivers. Yeah, page of cups. This person may be scrying in the river. No, I don't see a fish coming out. It would have been cute to have a fish coming out of there, but that's just me. And look at this. Maybe these stones. Maybe this. What do we call those? A dolomite, maybe. Plinth. If you know the name of this, write it in the comments below. Okay, the Knower or the Knight of Cups. The Knower of Cups. Here we have the fish there in the hand. Love that garment. Okay, the Gift of Rivers, which would be the Queen of Cups. And here we have a fish-headed female figure in the background. And this cup, that maybe this cup splits the river or joins the river. I suppose that's something that we could decide. And this would be the Speaker of Rivers. Yeah, the King of Water, of Cups. This shining cup here, or vessel. These fish all swimming upstream or downstream, or swimming in the river. And notice the structure in the background, yeah? These buildings. And what looks like it might be a pyramid-shaped, maybe tree symbol, a symbol of a tree, maybe. Or maybe a mountain. Okay, here we have the Ace of Birds, Ace of Swords. And here we have a sun coming up between 2 peaks. Beautiful. The colors in this deck are at once soft and vibrant to me. 2 of Swords, yeah, often balanced, making a choice, having to decide. There's often a lemniscate above, and so we've got a kind of a flavor of lemniscate with the snake here at the bottom. These birds are facing in opposite directions. And the Three of Swords, often heartbreak, yeah? And these three swords are piercing the ground, and the ground is perhaps bleeding a snake, a river, and some other form of power. The hand in the sun, the rising sun or setting sun. Notice we've got different, no, they are three. The handles of the swords are bird heads. And here we go with the Four of Birds. 1, 2, 3, oh, 4. I suppose this figure is one of the birds. Kind of a female Thoth figure, maybe. Interesting. Four of Swords, generally the meditation card, the recovery card. Looks like this figure is perhaps meditating and or recovering. Sure. Five of Birds, often the battle, is it worth it? But I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 birds, sure, and a human figure lying perhaps on the ground. Perhaps not so alive, I don't know. Okay, again, this is why we are blessed with a book. Six of Birds, Six of Swords, yeah, often the travel card. This person doesn't look like they're traveling. They're on, well, looks like they're taking a nap or sleeping on their bed, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 birds. Snake underneath the bed. And 7 of Birds, 7 of Swords. Often the stealing away, taking away, or could be sneaky or could be going your own way. Maybe that's here, but probably it's different. And we have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 birds in the air, separated by, can't really call those rivers up in the sky, can we? I'm curious to see what that is. And these figures radiating light. And here we have the 8 of Birds, 8 of Swords, 8 birds in the air. We've got a mountain, maybe a volcano with smoke. We've got a house on the volcano, not all that stable looking. We've got a figure down here, perhaps divining. 2 orbs in the sky. This one looks like a sun. It could be the moon, I suppose. Looks like a dim sun to me. Not dim sum, dim sun. And here we go with the 9 of Birds, 9 of Swords. Often the Nightmare card in Rider-Waite-Smith, but I don't get nightmares so much here. Looks like an owl on top of maybe a temple. Yeah, a figure, maybe a statue. Another small sacred object down here. Birds up in the sky. 2 trees growing up. 10 of Birds, 10 of Swords. Often a person lying down bleeding, right? Don't get that here. Although this figure does not look all that happy. We can be, I think we might be able to agree on that. This person looks like they're holding their heads in like, my thoughts, they're torturing me. Do you get that from this pose here? Moving on to the Place of Birds, the Page of Swords. Look at that. These birds up in the sky. We've got this labyrinth marked out in perhaps stones and branches maybe, and other things. Beautiful card, beautiful artwork. Very tribal, but also we have modern tribes indicated, I believe. We have the Knower of Birds. Yeah, I think this would be the Knight of Swords. Looking a little bit older than the other knowers to me. Are these on the wall? We've got Yang in Korean, Yin-yang in Chinese. We've got spirals. We've got another disc that is segmented. We've got maybe a yoni down here. So many symbols here. And on the ground as well. Can't forget that. And look at I love the clothes. The clothes on these beings is wonderful. And what looks like another bird-headed creature, the Gift of Birds, Queen of Swords, holding a shield and a bird banner, maybe a phoenix. To me, the Queen of Swords is the independent thinker, the one who is clear vision and clear-sighted and knows what to do, and has a sense of humor as well. Gift of birds. Speaker of birds. Wow. Definitely a pose of strength to me. And a bird mask. Yeah, the bird at the top of the mask. Amazing. The book. Ace of Stones. Okay, so this would be the Ace of Pentacles, looking a little bit phallic if you ask me, but yes, the Ace of Pentacles. And here we have the Two of Stones. We got two discs here, a turtle and a frog. Now, we don't get the thing connecting them, like in a lemniscate formation, but we've got two discs here, Two of Stones. And we have the Three of Stones formed in a triangle. Yeah. In the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, we usually see three people inside of a cathedral working on the same project. And each of those three people are from different classes or different parts of society. But instead of that, we got three discs of different colors. We've got one person above. We've got three birds flying off into the sky. We've got birds, we've got snakes, we've got a human figure. Two celestial orbs. The Four of Stones. We looked at that just briefly, right? We got 1, 2, I suppose, 3, 4, 5. I suppose 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're not counting this one, maybe. Again, the book. We look at the book. And we go to the Five of Stones, usually a person outside of a church looking, two people actually, looking very destitute and poor. Don't get that here so much. We got five figures here, five different colors. And the Six of Stones, what do we have? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So we don't have six different kinds of things that are being juggled here, but they look like they are kind of being juggled. Sticks, dice. Don't know what these are. Maybe shells. The book. We need the book. We have the Seven of Stones, which is often the Seven of Pentacles, waiting and evaluating and patience, waiting for the crops to mature. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got 7, kind of in a rainbow. From red up to ultraviolet, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. Okay, so the 8 of coins, or 8 of stones, I should say, which is often the working on your craft card. Don't get that so much. Does this horse have a huge wing? Is that one of perhaps 2 wings? Interesting. And these look like genes around, genes, like not something you wear, but as in genetic code kind of genes around the sun. Okay, again, the book. 9 of Stones. Okay, so we've got the 9 of Pentacles usually has a woman and a bird in her garden. We get some of that symbolism here. With the mountains in the background? Maybe. I don't remember. Well, let me see. Can I find my 9 of Pentacles here quickly? Just give me there she is, almost immediately came up. Yes, there are mountains in the background for her. Yeah, so we got the mountains. We got, instead of the coins here, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are more flowers than that. We got the bird in the hand. We got the one hand pointing somewhat down. So these cards are very, very similar, if you ask me. Okay, so going on to the 10 of Stones. Here we go. This is the legacy card, the card of family. Yeah, we've got a rainbow here, which is not common in a Ten of Pentacles or a Ten of Discs card, but we've got a rainbow up here. We don't have the actual family, but we've got footprints going up to this wall, perhaps. Interesting. Very interesting. Are these fields? Maybe fields? I don't know. And here we are with the Palace of Stones, the Place of Stones, the Page of Pentacles. And instead of the Knight of Pentacles, we have the Knower of Stones. And I'm sorry, just a moment. These cards are just a little bit slippy. The Knower of Stones. Make sure, yep, that's clear for you. Which would be the Knight. Usually thought of as the slowest moving knight. And the Gift of Stones, yeah, the Nurturer. The Queen of Pentacles. Okay. Do I get nurturing out of this card? Do I get taking care of other people and their needs? Not so sure. Again, need the book. This could be a hearth inside of a cave dwelling, perhaps. I need the book. And finally, we have the Speaker of Stones, the King of Pentacles, the Speaker of Stones. And it looks like this figure is working above a table, perhaps an altar. Interesting. This is a very, very interesting deck and requires study. But it's created by a person, Rachel Pollack, who really, really, really knows tarot. So I trust that it will all be clear in the book. Let me show you what shuffling looks like. First, I will do an overhand, and I'll pull a card, and we'll look at the book. Okay, so what is a message that we would benefit from hearing today? So here's my overhand. Okay, it overhands fairly well. I would say very well. I'm a very poor overhand shuffler, and that was not so bad. I was careful. I was being very careful, honestly. What is a message that we would all benefit from hearing today? Let me be a little less. Okay. So that gloss on the card, the coating on the cards, is allowing them to have just enough traction that they don't go flying off for me. Now let's see how it riffle shuffles. Do a couple of those. I'll keep them upright for the sake of this video. Oh, well, okay, so because of lack of space, but it riffle shuffles wonderfully. Oh, and it bridges just as wonderfully. Let me show you that again. Let me see if I can give myself enough space. What is the message that we would all benefit from hearing today? Riffle shuffle. Oh, wonderful. Bridge. Oh, wonderful. Okay, that is just phenomenal. This deck shuffles beautifully. And there wasn't too much gloss on camera, right? Well, I'll ask you that again after I pull a card. Yeah? What is the message that we would all benefit from hearing today? What is the message that we would all benefit from hearing today? Okay, so it did go flying a little bit. Okay, so what is a message we would all benefit from hearing today? Cut the cards. And what do we get? The Fool. Okay, so I'd kind of hoped that it would be one of the minor cards because I wanted to read that for you. Maybe I'll pull one more. As, let's see. So this is a message for us to hear today. And the Eight of Trees. Okay, good. Let's read these as a two-card pull. Yeah? The Eight of Trees and the Fool together. Let's see if this gives us anything helpful for us. So we'll go to the Fool first. And the Fool. Again, in the book, I showed you the black and white image of the card is right there in the book. She walks through the mountains, she flies through the circle, she hears the birds singing, she plays tricks on her brother. Now the Fool is an eternal child within all of us, the perfect child, innocent and pure of belief. Older tarot decks showed a beggar bitten by a dog or cat. The Rider Fool, a beautiful youth, danced on a cliff edge as if about to step off. In Shining Woman Tarot, the Fool has become still younger and has taken the leap. Now, already leaping, you can see that. He follows the bird, and without any thought, he too begins to fly. Sometime after I drew this picture, I met a woman who told me of a teaching of the Native American tradition she was studying. According to her teacher, we each contain within us a child spirit shield, a being who knows no fear or limitations. If we allowed this child to overcome our conscious doubts, then we could fly. Her story reminded me that around 9 or 10 years old, I thought about flight. I could fly, I told myself, if only I really believed I could fly without any doubt or question. And the reason I did not believe I could fly was that the adult world around me had told me that it was impossible. As I look back, I realized this was my child's way of comprehending repression. It wasn't just flying it wasn't just flying I was told I could not do. It was all the hopes and dreams the realistic world dismissed as impossible. To fit into society, we learn to accept fixed ideas about ourselves and what we can accomplish in life. Such limitations are not reality. The Fool symbolizes that part of ourselves, often buried or secret, that still knows we can fly. The bird of instincts carries the Fool over a brown landscape dotted with green hills. Okay, I'm not going to read the whole thing. In the background, that is the moon. Mountains in the back symbolize the unknown spirit world. Okay, instead of obstacles, we have the unknown spirit world, for we take our leap without knowledge of the destination. 7 lighter mountains appear in front, 5 in the back. Card 7 is the chariot as well as the heavenly bodies. 5 is the tradition as well as the 5 fingers of the hand. Together they make 12, the hanged woman, and the constellations of the zodiac. An energy line comes out of the mountain. So this is a very descriptive, she goes into very deep detail of all the symbols in the cards. Now, these are energy lines, not rivers. So let's go to meanings. Meanings: act on trust, follow your instincts, take chances, the child within, intuitive knowledge of sacred ways of being, action without any doubt of any kind. So that was the Fool. Now that's going to be paired with the 8 of Trees. Let's see what the 8 of Trees has to tell us. 10 of Trees, 8 of Trees. Okay, she flies over houses. Again, flying, right? Perfect pairing. She flings back her hair. Like a child in the water, she shouts over fire. So yeah, the blue sky, like a child in water, she shouts over fire. In this card, we see the destructive side of fire. The card also shows us that we do not have to remain in terrible situations. We can choose freedom. Freedom. The ground is barren except for trees. The fire has ravaged all but 2 of them. Okay, so yes, there's fire here. There's fire here. We've got 2 trees not ravaged by fire. Probably these 2. The house, the 8th tree, is on fire. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I get it. So this is the 8th tree. 2 of the trees are not on fire. The 8 of Trees symbolizes situations out of control, bringing the unwelcome fires of anger or pain. It may indicate a time when plans or structures in our lives seem to burn up around us, and yet the card and the situation it symbolizes is less pessimistic than it seems. The green tree and bush represent the qualities of experiences that have taken root in our lives and cannot be destroyed in the time of crisis. It may seem like everything is burned out of control and nothing can survive. What really matters to us, however, will survive. The leaping figure represents our ability to free ourselves from destruction by an act of will. It tells us we do not have to remain in a burning house. The image comes from K'tahuyuk, a prehistoric city excavated in Anatolia, Turkey. See also the 5 of birds. Okay, so she references cultures between the suits as well. Divinatory meaning. First, don't stay in a burning house. You can put out the fire, but you don't have to remain. Free yourself. Free yourself. Emotions or situations out of control, anger or pain, freedom, confidence in times of danger or collapse, the need to leave a situation that cannot be salvaged. So, even if we feel like we might be trapped, that the house is on fire, we can take the leap. Yeah? This figure is leaping right into the Fool card, right? So that's what we can remember. We can take the leap. We can trust. Our inner child has the wisdom that will allow us to fly. Even when it seems like the city is burning, we can still leap. We can still become the Fool. That's a beautiful message, I believe, for us. Now, we don't have to stay in the burning building. We can choose freedom. So, friends, what do you think of this deck? Are you going to get this deck? Do you have this deck? Do you use it? If you don't have it, are you going to buy it? I'll put a link in the description box below to Amazon in the United States, but those sellers only ship to the United States. There are probably other copies out there. It's probably still available at a reasonable price, but maybe not for long, maybe not forever. So if you want it, go get it. I urge you to go get it. And friends, if you liked this, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, subscribe and hit the alarm bell so you know when I upload videos. They're going to be slowing down to 2 a week from now on, probably, because the semester has begun here. Share this with whoever and wherever you think people might appreciate taking a look at this deck. And comment below. I would really love to hear from you. And if you're interested in a private reading, I'll put my Instagram link there. Contact me on Instagram and I can perhaps do a reading for you. And friends, now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.